Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Okay, today I want to talk about Shane Dawson getting tons of backlash over promoting and starting this Patreon. And I have to tell you that of all the things that I have covered with Shane Dawson through the years, I'm actually kind of surprised about this because it appears that a lot of people are calling Shane Dawson out for a cash grab. And for the first time, it isn't me. I'm not the one calling Shane Dawson out for having a cash grab. It's apparently Shane Dawson's fans. And I think it's very, very interesting. And I didn't even know that this was going on. So I want to give a little shout out to Addie. I asked her if I could read her message, and she said, yeah, absolutely. And I always say to anybody that sends me some tea or some receipts, I say, like, I ask them if I can read their message in my video, and then I'll say, like, do you want a shout out? Do you want me to keep you anonymous? You would be surprised how many people want to stay anonymous. I totally understand that, but she was like, no, I would love a shout out. So Addie, thank you so much for sending this to me. I will tell you, I didn't get a lot of messages about this. Usually with something like this, especially when it's typically about people that I cover on a pretty regular basis. Shane Dawson is somebody that I've covered a lot in the past. I usually do get a lot of messages about this, or about things like this, but I did not on this one at all. So I got the message and I thought, this is kind of interesting. I was like, let me kind of look into it. So I'm actually going to take you guys through it exactly the way that I found out about it. So let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. Let's start with Addie's DM on Instagram. Okay, so let's start with Addie's DM on Instagram. She sent this message to me, I believe it was yesterday. Hold on a second, let me get through all my pictures. Okay, so she sent me a screenshot of Ryland Adams' podcast, The Sip, with Lizzie, which I just got done watching. I watched the entire podcast. It's interesting watching this podcast. So it's Lizzie and Ryland, who are the hosts of The Sip, and 5 minutes in made me realize why I don't watch that podcast. But anyway, and then their guests are Shane. I don't watch The Sip anymore, so you guys might need to educate me, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to watch 3-hour-long podcasts to just get caught up to do, a 20 or 30-minute video, which will probably end up being 50 minutes. But anyway, so you guys can educate me. But, like, is Chris, Shane's videographer, is he usually on the Sip? I'm confused about this. So, okay, Shane and his partner Spencer that are doing apparently a movie together. Okay, so when you start watching the podcast, it literally just starts. There's like no intro to it. It's like, have you ever been at like a party before and you're very uncomfortable and you don't know like a lot of people there? And so you kind of you're like looking around the room and there's like a couch and 2 chairs and a table. There's like all those kind of setups. So you kind of just go over there and sit in the chair and you're just kind of like this. And then there's like this conversation going on. And you walk into this conversation and you're just kind of like smiling at these people. You have no clue who they are. And you absolutely have no idea what they're talking about. And their conversation makes no sense to you whatsoever. Well, that's very similar to what this podcast was like for me. I started watching it and I had already read Addie's DM. And so I kind of knew what it was going to be about, that it was going to be about them promoting Shane Dawson's new Patreon, but I was very, very confused when I just, like, it just jumps right into the podcast. I was like, is this part 2 of a podcast? I was confusion. I was like, is this part 2 of the podcast? Like, did I miss something? I went back to the beginning. I was like, if they just literally just jump right into the conversation. I don't know if that's what they do in the Sip. I don't know. If it's what they do in the Sip, I don't think it's a great idea because anybody coming over there new would be very, very confused about it. So anyway, so I went in and I started watching this. Hold on, I got so many screenshots and so many things pulled up. I started watching this podcast called Exposing Our Drama and Breaking NDAs with Shane and Spencer. Okay, so the Sip podcast, and where is it sitting at right now? I have no idea how many views it's got. So the Sip, let's just go in here and do a little research, has 249,000 subscribers, and that video is from 1 day ago, and it's sitting at 136,000 views. The video from 8 days ago is Tasting Everything, and it's got Chris and Lizzie and Ryland in the thumbnail, so Chris must be on the podcast as well. I didn't know that. Tasting Everything at Jack in the Box viral menu 8 days ago. Apparently they must be doing like a lot of food stuff because it's talked about in the comments. 2 weeks ago, Exposing Our Biggest Secrets with Shane Morgan. Oh, so Shane is on this a lot. Okay. Exposing Our Family Drama with Shane Morgan and my mom 3 weeks ago. So there are videos that they do when Shane is on there. Chris is in a lot of these thumbnails. So Chris must be on the podcast now. Like I said, I've not watched it. Tasting Wendy's and worst selling items. So when Shane is in the video titles, their videos get like, here's Tasting the Crumble Kardashian collab with Shane Morgan. When Shane is in the thumbnail, they get like almost 150,000 more views. So apparently that's why they want to have Shane on the sip a lot. Ryland's on Shane's podcast, so I don't know why Shane doesn't just come over and help his husband out with some views. I mean, you know, unless he just wants to keep it with, I guess, at Ryland and Lizzie. I don't know. Anyway, so the video is called Exposing... Hold on, let me pause this really quick so I can read these comments. Exposing our drama and breaking NDAs with Shane and Spencer. So what it is Lizzie and Ryland... It's their podcast, and Shane and his partner, I guess, Spencer, that are doing some film project together, the movie that Shane's been talking about forever, they're like the special guests. In fact, Shane says at the beginning of it, it feels like they're kind of like on a promotion tour, because they're like promoting something, which apparently is this like film series. I don't really, to be honest with you, I watched the entire podcast and I was very confused. I was very confused at what they were selling us. I was even more confused when I went over to Shane's Patreon that they push heavily. Apparently Ryland has a Patreon. Apparently they all have Patreons. I don't know. Let me just tell you first of all, before we get into this, because a lot of people have a lot of strong opinions about this in the comment sections. Back in the day, I used to have pretty strong feelings about Patreons. I was like, I just think there's so much money to be made on, and this was before TikTok and Instagram was getting a lot of that kind of that crazy stuff. I just was kind of like, there's so much money to be made, especially for influencers on this level on YouTube, that it's interesting to me that then they have to have all these other different, you know, sources of income when they're selling merch, when they're, you know, I mean, the average audience member out there, let's just be for real, the majority of you guys, okay, it's not like you're sitting in $10 million homes and just so bored with life that you're watching a Peter Monn YouTube video about Shane Dawson. That's just not, I don't think that's my average audience, right? I think my average audience, you know, are service workers, people that are standing on their feet all day long, teachers, you know, healthcare providers, you know, I think people that work in all forms of service and education and things like that, parents, grandparents, you know, students in college. I think that is who watches the majority of YouTube and TikTok. And a lot of those people have been working their butts off all day long, okay, taking care of other people, that when they come home, they just want to kind of relax. I think that sometimes whenever I talk about like selling a lot of stuff or non-disclosed, because, you know, whenever I talk about like non-disclosed sponsorships or non-disclosed affiliate links, you know, there's always a couple comments in my videos where people will be like, okay, Peter, kind of like, we're so tired of hearing about this. I think the real reason why it irritates me so much is that it's just this constant, like I did this video about Toddy Westbrook the other day, and I went into the video and I was like, I'm not going to talk a lot about the non-disclosed affiliate links. But in talking about Toddy, it was very fitting to talk about how she's constantly selling something and is now seen as like the queen of QVC. Jaclyn Hill was seen like that before. I think for me, and I got done with it, and I was kind of like, before I published it, I was like in my head, so in recovery, so I've been sober since 1994, I'm in a 12-step program, I honor all ways to get sober. But in 12-step programs, we do something which is called give a lead. And that means that like you get up and you tell your story about what happened, how you got here, and what your life is like now. And my sponsor back in the day would say to me, I remember going to give a lead one time, and it's like where you share your story at a meeting. And you've probably seen it in movies when somebody stands up and they share their whole story. But anyway, I can remember he said to me, he's since passed away, he was such a fantastic man, and he said, there's the lead that you give on the way, there's the lead that you actually give, and then there's the lead that you wish you gave on the way home. And what that means is that, like, on the way to the meeting, you're planning your lead in your head, right? And then you give the actual lead, and on the way home, you're like, oh, I wish I would have said this. And so when I got done with that Toddy video the other day, I was like, it was the lead I wish I had given. What I really wanted to say was, I'm just really tired of people constantly selling us shit. That's just how I feel. You know, when I started on here 8.5 years ago, I never really considered myself, even in the early days, like a YouTuber. I just was, I don't know, like I've said, a dude with a camera. I'm one of you guys. I watch all this stuff. I was enamored with these people. I was a fan of a lot of these people. And so now to see that everybody has taken their platform and it's just sell, money, 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 money. And there's almost like an entitlement to it, to me, is how it feels. That like, well, I have this platform, and I have this audience, I think what they miss along the way is that audience is you. That audience are real human beings that are busting their butts every day to pay their rent, to put food on the table, you know, to maybe go out to dinner once a week, something like that, you know? And so it's just, there's an entitlement that's like, I have this audience, so I might as well soak this audience dry. Now, listen, full-grown adults can spend their money on what they want to. To me, it's just like, at what point I remember YouTube back in the day when people weren't even making money on YouTube. I mean, Shane Dawson has to remember that, you know, because he was around back then, when people weren't even getting paid to be part of the partner program. And now it's like, let's take this platform that we have. And no, Shane Dawson is not the only person. He's the least of it, honestly. That's like, let's just take this platform and make as much money as we possibly can off of it. Let's link everything we possibly can. Let's have as much merch. Let's sell as many products as we can down these people's throats. And to me, it just is, it's disgusting and it's saturation, honestly. But with the Patreon thing, you know, so many people have said to me through the years, like, Peter, you really should start a Patreon. I'll tell you this, okay? A couple of years ago, I think it was like a year and a half ago, people were like, because there's like memberships you can do on YouTube now, and people were like, Peter, you should do memberships. I was getting a lot of comments about it, especially on my vlog, and I was getting, well, not so many comments, but I was getting direct messages from people that they were like, do you know that they have memberships, blah, 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 whatever. And I said something about it on one vlog. On one vlog, I said, you know, people have asked me to do memberships, and I'll tell you how I feel about memberships and Patreon personally for me in just a second. But what a lot of the comments were like, Peter, I can't afford a membership. What would you offer in a membership? Like, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing a membership. Like, that's not fair to the people. Like, and the other thing for me is this, right? I have 7 channels. I'm actually thinking about starting an 8th channel, okay? Which will be a nature channel. I have 7 channels. You know, I'm not making $1 million a year, but I make okay income. I really do, you know. I don't take a lot of sponsorships. You know, I have Cameo that people can buy cameos from. I hardly sell any merch. I don't even know the last time that I looked to see if I'd made any money off of merch. I never push my merch. And I do okay. I do okay. And so do the other people that I know that do very similar to me. And so, you know, I was thinking about this when I read her DM because, you know, I always hear these people say, and it was interesting because Rylan says it in a comment on the top of the video when people start coming for them. He says something about free content. And I thought, you know, it's always that. Like, we've been giving you free content. Well, it really isn't free content. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but there's ads on these videos, okay? So even if you click through an ad, I still make money off of that. If you have YouTube Red, I still make money, or whatever it's called these days, I still make money off of that, you know? So no, they're not free videos. When these people are sitting down and they're getting hundreds of thousands, let alone millions of views a video, they're making very, very good money off of it. So this whole idea to me that we're doing free content for who? The viewer? The viewer, it's YouTube, baby, just like it's Instagram. That's like somebody on Instagram saying, I provided free content for you for years. Or TikToker saying, I provided free content for you for years. But if you ask a TikToker, what's your job? They would say, I'm a TikToker. Just like if you ask Shane Dawson, what does he do? He'd probably say, I'm a content creator. That's how he defines his job. He chose that as being his job. So when he signed up for that, just like when I signed up for that, we knew, okay, that you're going to make as much money as hard as you work. Period. End of story, you know? It's one of the only places that you honestly can do that. And for a very, very lucky few of us, we do make some money off of it, you know? I'm not anywhere near on the level of these people. And I do okay. And I know that the people that I know that are on the same level as me do okay. So for me, this whole kind of like push. I don't really, to be honest with you, with 7 channels, know what else I would give away. I don't really know. Like, I mean, I've thought about it before, you know, like, I'll be honest with you. If times got tough, I'd start a Patreon. I would. And I would say, listen, folks, times are tough. Okay. And I thought about, like, because people have said to me before, you should start a Patreon. People, you have such a devoted audience. People would really sign up for it. I don't really know, number one, what I would do. Number two, I am highly entertained by people watching what I put out there. Like, I get a lot of enjoyment off of that, right? So for me, the thing is that if I put it behind a paywall, that's going to limit the amount of people that are going to get to see it. So I want as many people to see it as possible, which is why I've never done it. You know, years ago, I would be like, I don't really understand the Patreon thing, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care today. If somebody wants to open a Patreon, open a Patreon. But, you know, years ago, I would be like, I don't really understand the Patreon thing, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care today. If somebody wants to open a Patreon, open a Patreon. But, you know, years ago, I would be like, I don't really care today. If somebody wants to open a Patreon, open a Patreon. But then I think that you ought to be selling something over there that is completely different than what you're doing over here, you know? I mean, I'm trying to think of like, if my husband and I started like, let's say a couple's YouTube channel or whatever, and I would put that behind a paywall and say, if you want to see all, you know, because that's not something that we're putting on here. But even that, I would just start a couples channel with my husband. We've talked about it, you know? And we've talked about recently we've talked about doing a travel channel together, you know? And that is something that I would do. I would want as many people as possible to see it. So no, I wouldn't put it behind a paywall. So then I asked myself, what would be the reason why you would put it behind a paywall? And the only reason I would think of putting it behind a paywall is another source of income. I don't even know what I would put over there. So I just want to make it be completely transparent about what my feelings are about Patreons. If somebody wants to start a Patreon today, baby, start a Patreon, okay? Start an OnlyFans, start a Patreon, start a TikTok, start a Shedo. I don't care, okay? Start an Amazon. Do whatever you need to do. Just disclose appropriately, and I hope you're offering something good over there. Because, that's just how I feel about it. And I'll tell you right now as I make this video so that years later somebody can't say, Peter said he would never start a Patreon. I never said that today, okay? I may have said that in the past, but my opinion has changed. I might start a Patreon someday. Baby, times might get tough, okay? I don't know. I might have to, you know, go over to the OnlyFans and sell an uncensored elbow. Who knows? Times are tough. I wouldn't even make no money on OnlyFans, so there's no reason for me to go over there. So anyway, okay. So all of that going into this video, which was going to be 20 minutes long, and now we're at 16 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, so let's get to this direct message I got from Addie. Okay, so Addie sent me this message. By the way, okay, I put some of these fakes up last night on my Instagram. This is just a side note for anybody that cares. So, you know, people steal my picture all the time, and then they use it to scam women. It's mostly either to meet women or to scam women or whatever, okay? Well, you know, first of all, I talk about it in videos, so then I think people set up fake ones just to kind of mess with me and be like, oh, there's another one, like I'm going to post it or something like that. I don't post as many of them anymore. I have a tab on my Instagram that's called fakes, and literally you can just go, I mean, there's so many of them. I stopped putting them up there a while ago. Every once in a while I do. But the other day, this woman, so about 6 months ago, I got one from this woman, and she said, and I'll just tell you right now, Instagram, Facebook, they won't do anything. They won't take these accounts down. They don't do anything, okay? So this woman, I'm trying to get on that show Catfish. No, seriously, I ain't trying to start a Patreon today. I'm trying to get on that show Catfish. So about 6 months ago, this woman messaged me. I felt so bad for her, and she was really nice to me. And she said, I've been talking to this guy that has your picture for whatever. You know, people make jokes about it and stuff, but like, I've kind of let it go. But it is kind of weird that there are women out there that have had full-on relationships with somebody they think is me because of my physical face. And then all of a sudden, they look my face up. They do like reverse image search, and they realize like, oh, I'm this gay guy that lives in Indianapolis, Indiana with his husband, and that's not who I've talked to. The whole thing is kind of really bizarre. It's really not a joke to me on this level. So about 6 months ago, I got a message from this woman. And then she was very nice, and I felt very bad for her. And I think maybe her daughter contacted me first. And this guy had made, like, a work lanyard with my picture on it. I mean, it said, like, the company he worked at, and had it was very official. It was very scary. I remember when I told my friends about it, my friends were like, my friends that are on YouTube, they're like, people go to these lengths? Okay. Well, about 2 days ago, I got a message from this woman, and she had been scammed out of almost $50,000. First of all, I'm just going to say this right now, and she was nice at the end, but she got a little testy with me at first about how I needed to do this. Listen, I cannot control people stealing my pictures. That is not on me, okay? I feel bad for anybody that gets scammed out of $1, let alone $50,000, okay? Vet out the people that you're talking to. Have your parents vet out the people that they're talking to on Facebook Messenger, all right? Because that's usually where it starts. And I'm just telling you right now, if you got a single mom out there that's over the age of 65 and she is talking to somebody on the internet, because that is usually who they aim for, please have a conversation with her, because this poor woman reached out to me. This man, I have a picture in my phone. He is literally a passport, okay? And I don't know how he did it, but it is a passport with my picture on it and all his information. I mean, it's really scary, you know? And I don't know if it's just like a fake thing that he made up or whatever, but it's literally like sitting on a counter, like a folded open passport that he took a picture of, that I don't know if he just pasted his picture. I don't know how he did it, but it looks like a legit passport that she sent me. And she sent me other stuff as well. And other people have sent me, I mean, like, actual documentation. I mean, that is so scary. Like, we won't even get to the legal terms of that. But anyway, I just want to say, that's why I posted them yesterday. I hardly ever post those on my Instagram anymore, but every once in a while. And that was kind of a warning, because I looked, and that person follows, like, 400 women, and I'm sure he's talking and scamming all of them. So anyway, I got those screenshots in here right now. So anyway, Addie sent me this message. She sent me a link to the video, and she said, a lot of comments on the SIP are people upset, everyone. And this was interesting to me, because back in the day, Rylan and Shane were known for deleting negative comments. They just, and I'm not just talking about one or two that disagreed with them, because whenever I say that, people are like, Peter deletes comments. Go read my comment sections, okay? There's people on there that don't like me, they say, oh, Peter, you're an asshole, you're jealous. Those comments are still up there. If I was going to delete comments, don't you think I'd delete those comments? Okay. But back in the day, they used to delete a lot of negative comments. I don't know if they got just bombarded with negative comments, because when I looked, it's just negative comment after I mean, it's like everybody in there is just like, enough of this Patreon bullshit. And so she said, a lot of the comments on the SIP are people upset everyone has a Patreon now, and talk about it a lot on the YouTube podcast. Shane has a Patreon, the SIP has a Patreon, and Morgan has a Patreon. So if you like them, you have to pay 20-something more dollars a month. Now, I looked at Shane's. I don't know how much Rylan's is. We can look in a second. Shane's, I think, is $7.99 a month. And that's the only paywall that you pay. There's not, like, tiers. Some Patreons have tiers. I could have looked at it wrong, but I don't think that I did. So if you like them, you have to pay 20-something more dollars a month to see the content they tease on their normal videos, or used to do on their normal videos. I get it if you're watching copyrighted content or something, but can't they share a Patreon at least? Instead of having, because they could do a free Patreon. That's like I think that's what she's insinuating. So you could do a free Patreon. Some people have them, where, you can, like, people can just subscribe for free. You don't have to pay anything. And then your material is safe over there, because people can't copyright it. And they can't, like, re-upload it and stuff, because it's safe over on Patreon. And that's a little bit of what Shane's talking about on there. So I was very confused. We'll get to that in a second, of why he started this Patreon. He talks about his therapist pushed him about if you're passionate about something, and it's all about this movie and raising money. I was very confused about it. So anyway, she said, I get it if you're watching copyrighted content or something, but can't they share a Patreon at least? Instead of having people subscribe to 3 new Patreons. I love them too, and I could afford it, but I probably won't, because it's so excessive. What do they need more money for? And I'm a fan and will continue watching their normal videos, but damn, the greed is kind of greedy. So then she says, at the end of this podcast, we find out that if you are subscribed to the SIP Patreon, you get a discount on Shane's Patreon for 1 year. So they thought about it a little bit, but not enough. What's funny is that Morgan has been joking about the Shane Dawson Podcast Network, where everyone's videos are hosted. Why don't they actually do that and save us all some money? If you watch all of them, you're paying 20-something extra. Oh, she's talking about all together. You're paying 20-something extra dollars a month, and they're probably not the only Patreon you want to subscribe to. This is just like how there's too many streaming networks, LOL. Baby, I agree with that, okay? Because my husband and I, we have, listen, here, I'll just pull up right now and tell you all of our streaming services. We got Disney, we got Prime, we got Netflix, we got Hulu, we got, well, Tubi's free. Tubi's free. We got Discovery, Peacock, Max, Shudder, Wow, Paramount Plus, Pluto, I didn't even know we have that one. Apple, AMC, we got so many more than that I don't have on my phone. And we're the only couple in America that still pays over $300 a month for cable. Because, baby, I gotta have my sister wives and my 1,000-pound sisters. The finale was last night. I'll be putting my video up on my Peter Watches TV video today for free. Not sponsored, no affiliate links. But I gotta have the shows right when they come out. I can't be waiting until the next day. My cousin Caroline tells me you can get all that stuff on YouTube TV. She swears by YouTube TV. So anyway, so that's what she said to me. Hold on, but did she say anything else? I keep on getting out of this. I gotta go back in. Okay. So, where is it? Okay. So she said, yeah, that's all she said. And then I asked her if I could read them in the messages, and she said absolutely. And I asked her if I could have a shout out, blah, blah, or she wanted a shout out. So then today, I watched, and I didn't even know if I was going to make this video or not. I was just like, I mean, anytime I talk about Shane Dawson, this is the thing, right? That one of the things that Shane Dawson has done through the years that is very good, and like YouTube really pushes this, is to develop strong relationships with your audience. He's done that. People love Shane Dawson. I think a lot of people, through the cancellation, all that kind of stuff, kind of like fell off with him. But I think that Shane Dawson is like really, he has a strong audience of people that really adore him and love him, you know? And he's worked really hard at cultivating that through the years. So then you're taking that audience that is stuck by you through the cancellation, through your problematic behavior, through you complaining about the problematic behavior and the cancellation, and they've stuck by you through all that. Now you want them to spend more money on something else. So I go in and I watch this podcast. Okay, like I said, the podcast is very confusing because, and I didn't take notes on it or anything, so I just watched it like, well, about 35 minutes ago, I just finished watching it downstairs. So it's very confusing because you just step into it and it's like this conversation with all of them. And then Chris is in the background and he's always just like, is he like that still? I don't watch Shane's podcast either. Chris always he seems very sweet to me. I like Chris, but he just always seems real nervous. Like, is that supposed to be his character on the show? Is like, he doesn't really get the jokes and then they make jokes of him and they just kind of tease him. And is that like who Chris is supposed to be on all that? I know Chris has his own YouTube channel now. I did see that. So anyway, it's a different Chris. It's a very serious Chris. It's like a storytelling, very serious Chris on his YouTube channel. So anyway, I don't love that when people always have to put on 5 different characters for different things. I don't know if that's a character for Chris, if that's just who he is, and he just always seems real uncomfortable to me. The thing that's interesting is, like, right out of the gate, Shane and Ryland start kind of picking at each other and fighting. You know, to see it like, and Shane Dawson is somebody that has studied film, like film study. He will tell you that. I have as well. And so one of the things in film study is that they will tell you about the smoking gun theory. Okay, the smoking gun theory is that if you are in an opening scene of a movie and you see a smoking gun, okay, that smoking gun better do something in that movie. Like, it better just not be like a prop. Like, you cannot just have a gun sitting on a table and it not have anything to do with the movie whatsoever, okay? So when I started watching this, and they're like picking at each other, and it's like a couple times within the first 5 minutes, then Shane makes a joke about Ryland and him fighting, and a little bit of that, I will be honest with you, it's just kind of like relationships, marriage, and stuff like that. I get that, right? Like, my husband and I pick at each other too. That's just kind of part of a relationship. But excessively on film is uncomfortable for me. I don't like that. I don't like to watch. I come to YouTube to relax and to watch videos to critique people for this channel. But I don't love that when I see, especially if it's people that I love together, I don't love to see people bicker. Like, that's not enjoyable for me. To tease each other and to make some jokes, like, that's kind of funny. But you can tell, like, it goes back and forth for a second. I mean, they're shady to each other. But you can tell it, like, okay, he's saying something about, Shane makes a comment about the studio that they're sitting in, that's like the shed is kind of slanted. And then he says something, and then Ryland goes, have you been in your gym? Basically saying that your gym is slanted, okay, like how they built it. And then Shane starts to say something else, and Lizzie cuts in. And I'm like, it's so uncomfortable, because it's like, it could go back and forth for a while. You could tell. And then Shane makes some joke, like 5 minutes after that, about, oh, our arguments will come later. They argue through the whole thing. They bicker with each other through the whole thing. The other thing that's interesting to me that I noticed, that I didn't really ever notice this before, is that when Shane is talking with this Spencer guy about his project, you can tell that Ryland doesn't really understand what Shane's creative process or what his creative goals are. Because Shane will say something about, like, going to, like, get backers and producers for a movie, and Ryland will say something, and Shane will go, no, not really. Like, you can tell, like, they don't really understand each other's creative processes, which is fine, okay, but maybe not in this context. It doesn't really work, you know? I'm not going to say that I understand my husband's creative process or that he understands mine, but, like, I then wouldn't put him in an interview to sit down and interview my husband and ask him questions, making it look like I understood something I didn't understand. It's very awkward when you watch it. Not only that, but Lizzie goes into this whole thing about, I didn't really understand, the podcast, if you don't, like, it's very much a podcast, like, you have to watch these people regularly and love them. You have to. Like, for example, the Just Trish podcast, since Trisha and Shane used to be friends, you could step into an episode of Just Trish with Oscar, and they're talking about pop culture people, and if you wanted to just hear her talk about, I don't know, let's say if she's talking about like they talk about Miley Cyrus. Let's say if she was just talking about Miley Cyrus this week and you had never watched Trisha Paytas or Just Trish podcast before, you could step into it like a talk show or like a late night show and watch it and it would make sense to you. You wouldn't need to know who Trisha Paytas is. You wouldn't need to know her host Oscar to understand that he was the host. You wouldn't need to know the context of the relationships or that Moses is her husband. You wouldn't even need to know that. You would just understand that this is like a talk show setup or like a late night setup. This is going to stop in a second. Hold on. Okay, you would understand that this is like a late night setup and that they're talking about pop culture issues or they're interviewing somebody, they have a guest on there, right? Also like the Canceled podcast with Tana Mojo. Now, y'all know, like, I'm not super fans of these people. I'm just using them as examples. Like a lot of podcasts I've seen. I don't know if it's just this specific podcast episode or if it's just the SIP in general. But this episode, to me, it felt like you really have to know who these people are to have any investment in the podcast whatsoever. Because I'm not that invested in these people. And so when I watched it, I was about 3 minutes in, I was confused, and I was bored. So I was like, when are we getting to the Patreon? Because I'm over here to hear you talk about the Patreon. At that point, I started reading the comments in the comment section. And the comments are not good. Not in favor whatsoever. So I watched this whole thing, and Shane starts talking about he's been wanting to like sell his movie for a while. I don't know. To be honest with you, I didn't really understand it. And like I said, I watched the whole thing. Shane's talking about he's been wanting to do this movie project for a long time. One of the things that Shane does say is that he said he always invested in his own projects. He always put his own money into his own movies, and he never really made anything from it because when you put a movie up on YouTube, it just doesn't make a lot of money, okay? And I understand that. I do understand that. What he's saying is if I put $5 million into a movie and then the movie, this makes more sense to me. And I'm glad he explained it this way. This made more sense to me than just being like, I need money to produce a movie. Like when Rylan and, talked about the Christmas movie and whatever. This makes more sense to me, okay? Because what Shane is saying is, if I put it on YouTube, I'm like, the investment, I'm not going to get my return on the investment. Well, a lot of people, Trish Paytas, for example, did music videos that never made any kind of return on the investment. And he did talk about music videos in there. He didn't just talk about movies. He talked about the music video that he did as well, and songs that he had written, and things like that. But I do understand that. I do understand that if you're going to do, like, let's say, a feature film, an hour and 20 length feature film, and you're going to put it on your YouTube channel, okay? If you, let's say, put in an hour and 20 minutes, so many ads, and even if you get 10 million views off of it, okay, the money you're going to make on that compared to your return is probably not great. It's really no different than somebody on that level sitting down and just, making an hour and 20 minute video just talking to the camera. It's like, that's basically what Shane's saying is, I could just talk to the camera for an hour and 20 minutes and I'll probably get a similar amount of views, right? So the investment's not great. Not to mention that not many people will get to see it. So what he's talking about is, that when he would go to production companies, they would say to him, well, okay, we like your idea, but you need to put this actor, not actor, but famous person. And he's like, well, I don't even know if they could act. It immediately made me think of like those movies with like Bella Thorne, and I think the guy from, what's his name, from the Ace family, why can't I think of him right now, was in some movies back in the day, and they weren't good. And so I think that's kind of the kind of mentality that I was thinking. Like if he was going to do a movie, they might want to like put JoJo Siwa as a star in it. And he's like, well, that's great. She'll pull people in to see it, but she's not an actor, and so it'll ruin the quality of the film. This is where Shane Dawson really cares about the quality of what he's putting out there. And I do believe that about Shane Dawson. I do think since day one, he's always thought as more, and I do know a lot of YouTubers like this too. I'm not one of them, obviously, but really think about I think that's why he loves to edit and things like that, that really thinks about the quality of what they're putting in there. And so for him, it lowers the quality. So he didn't really ever want to sign up with these people because it wasn't the vision. And so if he's not going to do the vision that he wants, and they don't match ideas, then they're not going to put money in his pocket to back it. And I do understand that, because then he can release it even to like film festivals and things like that and get more recognition if he gets backing from other people. That makes more sense to me than just, I need a bunch of money to produce this movie. That's not what he's saying. And so it makes more sense in that context, right? So I guess what he's saying is he started this Patreon so that he could back his own film and do it exactly how he wants to do it. That's what I'm taking from it. They don't really ever say that, though. They don't really ever say that. What they do say is, Shane Dawson is starting a Patreon. His therapist encouraged him to start a Patreon. He was scared about starting a Patreon because of the backlash that he would receive from the Patreon. That was good foresight on you, Shane, because you did get a lot of backlash on it. Lizzie talks about people knowing their worth. She's like, I am so tired of working with people that want you to do this collab and whatever, but they won't pay you for your worth. I'm like, Lizzie, what's your worth? I feel like Lizzie is very replaceable on the SIP next to Rylan Adams. I don't know that, does she have a huge following or something? I am not like, when I watch Lizzie, I'm not like, woo, God, Stevie Nicks fucking talent. Like, I don't watch her. She's fine as a podcast host, and she's a friend of Rylan's. I don't really know, is she a stand-up comedian or something? I don't really know much more about Lizzie past that, but like, I do not watch her and think, oh baby, this is the new Cher coming on stage, okay? Like, baby, watch out, fucking Madonna. It's time for you to retire on your retirement tour, okay? Because Lizzie Gordon, what's her name? Is her name Lizzie? Is that a famous person? What's her name? Lizzie McGuire? Is that her name? Lizzie's coming. So when she starts talking about, I mean, I think we should all know our self-worth. I absolutely should, okay? I know my self-worth enough to know that maybe sometimes it's good to settle. You know what I mean? That maybe I'm not going to get paid $1 million because maybe my talent is not that talented, okay? Sometimes you need to know your place too, okay? Sometimes it's about knowing your worth but also knowing your place, okay? And sometimes you got to pay your dues. I don't know that Lizzie has paid her dues to be sitting on a podcast talking about how much she's worth, okay? I'm just saying. For me, it was a little bit like, girl. So anyway, but through the whole podcast, they do this thing where they go, it's really between Lizzie and Rylan. They'll say, save it for the Patreon. And I'm like, oh, this is what people are talking about. They talk about this food segment they're going to do. And then Lizzie turns to Rylan and goes, save it for the Patreon. Shane starts talking about something, and then he looks at Spencer and he goes, should we save it for the Patreon? And then if you watch it, like before I went over to Shane's Patreon, I thought Shane's Patreon was going to be all kinds of new stuff. They talk about this docu-series they're doing over there, that the Patreon's going to be this docu-series. I go, oh, so I'm thinking to myself, because what a lot of the producers said to him is, they were really invested in promoting something that would be Shane Dawson because of his docu-series, doing a docu-series about how to film a horror movie or whatever movie he's going to put out there, right? And he said that's not what he wanted to do. And I thought, when you got a bunch of geniuses sitting in a room and they're telling you this is a good idea, you know, I reference RuPaul's Drag Race a lot. It's like when people on RuPaul's Drag Race, when those girls get up there and they're like, you know, listen, okay, you need to paint a little lighter, the hair needs to be a little bit bigger, and they come out the next week with a flat wig and the paint's not lighter, okay? They don't get it. They don't get that people that have paved the way before them, that know a little bit more than them, maybe you should listen to them sometimes. I'm just saying, okay? Do what you want to do, but maybe also put the behind-the-scenes docu-series out. So then I thought, well, that's what he's putting on his Patreon. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I would be interested in that. But wait a second. You have your Shane Dawson channel. So you have your Shane Dawson channel where you've done the behind the scenes and the beautiful life of this and the horrible life of that and who's a psychopath and all this kind of stuff. Why wouldn't you just put it on your Shane Dawson channel? Oh, because you want to make more money for your movie making that you said you're going to do 5 years ago but still hasn't come out. Okay? Well, that's fine. I said I was going to be making me a movie last year and it didn't come out. I don't know when that movie's going to come out. It might come out tomorrow. It's not. But it might. You don't know. I'm now in talks with my neighbor. She's my producer. She don't know that yet. I just said that. But we're going to maybe film it at her house. I got to write the book first though, see? This is where you laugh at yourself, okay? Because I threw it out there because I'd love to make a movie, a recovery Christmas movie. I would, okay? And I'd love to write the book. I got 7 channels, and I got no Patreon, and I'm getting paid extra on, so baby, I gotta hustle. I got to fucking hustle, okay? But I thought I would probably even pay $7.99 just to see the behind the scenes of how he made a horror movie. I think that's interesting, okay? So I'm like, reading underneath the comments, so I go over here, and I think it's important for me to read you what Shane's offering on his Patreon first. So over here it says, subscribed. Well, first of all, it says, go to Audible for this for free, blah, blah, whatever. HelloFresh, Harry's. None of these codes, by the way, Rylan, are disclosed appropriately. Okay, not one of them. When you're complaining about how y'all don't make any money on this, because that podcast comes across, especially from Lizzie, like none of us make no money. Seriously, you are living on conspiracy palette money. Let's not even lie about that. And then at the very bottom, it says sponsored by SeatGeek. Restrictions apply. Max 20%. He didn't put no link to SeatGeek or nothing, baby. SeatGeek sponsored this video. You didn't put no link to SeatGeek or anything for people to go over there. I can't even get to SeatGeek from this video. Okay. But you sure did put a link to your husband's Patreon. So let's go over there. Is there also a link? Then follow Spencer. Okay, you can subscribe to Rylan Adams' Patreon. Lizzie Gordon Vlogs. Rylan. Subscribe to Chris. Email us. Okay, the SIP official. Hold on a second. I want to look at something real quick. Lizzie Gordon Vlogs. Her worth. She guys, wait a second. Hold on a second. Now, that's a good following, but... Oh, she posted 9 days ago. Oh, she gets good views on her vlog. She got 76,000 views. Okay. She gets good views. 30 to 50,000. I don't know that I think it's views that are worthy of Oscars and things, but those are good views for a vlog. She get almost 50% views on her channel. That's good. Okay. I'm still not interested in watching her channel. No offense, Miss Lizzie. No offense, Miss Lizzie. I think of Lizzie from Love After Lockup, the one that got real religious and never did have sex with Scott, and then he passed away. It was so sad. He gave her 2 rings, threw one in the toilet and one in the that's what we should all be making videos about. Love After Lockup. You cannot script that shit. Okay, so I go over here. Well, first of all, I think I want to look at Ryland Adams' podcast or Patreon. What does he have on his Patreon? Let's look, babe. Okay, The Sip with Ryland Adams and Lizzie Gordon. See, you can join for free, but you don't get nothing for free if you join it. Membership options, $7.99, and with that you get an extra 20 minutes following every episode of The Sip. So everything they say they're going to say for the Patreon, that's where they save it. So you get 20 extra minutes 4 times a month. So you get an hour and 20 minutes a month. Y'all can't even film that and put it on your video on another channel. You could start another channel and call it The Sip Extra and just put it over there. Then that'd be another source of income for you guys and you wouldn't have to Patreon. Basically, and I'm going to be honest with you, Ryland and Lizzie, if you started another Patreon and called it The Sip Extra and posted clips of The Sip and clips of behind the scenes, you could probably make more money off that than you could your Patreon. I'm just telling you, okay? At least 2 Patreon exclusive vlogs a month, a day in the life. Don't you both have vlog channels? I'm confusion. Private community chat. She says in there she loves her chat so much. Do you, girl? Do you love the comments you received in this video? Merch that will only be available to pay. Girl, what? More fucking slimes? We can't. And they will go live 4 times a year. Oh, my Lord in heaven. Okay. So, what chats? Food chat. They got, okay. Ever finish a sip and find yourself thirsty for more? No, can't say I have. Never. Join us here for an extra 20 minutes following every episode. We'll have a vlog once a month. Okay, so was it, I'm confusion, because Shane said that he went to his therapist and started talking about starting a Patreon. He was afraid. And his therapist said, if it's your passion, you should do it. Was it also Lizzie and Ryland's passion to start a Patreon? I'm confusion. So did Ryland, Lizzie, and Shane all have the same passion from the same passion fruit to start their... I'm confusion about the Patreon. They all have the passion for the Patreon? I'm starting me a fucking Patreon. No, I am. Tomorrow, I'm starting at 99 cents. You gonna get all kinds of wild shit over there, baby. I am starting me a fucking Patreon. I know people are already like, Peter, Mom, baby, I'm starting me a Patreon. Trust, I am. I don't even know how to start how do you start one? I don't even know how to do that. When did this start? They got collections, vlogs. How many vlogs they got on their vlog thing so far? 5 vlogs. Okay. A real day in the life of... It looks just like... These look just like a Lizzie's vlog. Locked. Another day in Ryland's life. Lizzie fucks up her hair. So basically, what you would put on your other channels. Okay. So really nothing offering anything new. Okay. Gotcha in that collection. I'm not looking at other collections. I can tell you, there's a few Patreons I would probably never join, but the Lizzie and Ryland Patreon is definitely one, baby, that I would never, ever join in my entire life. Okay, we went too far with Shane and Spencer, the after sip, 28 minutes. Okay, so I'm standing in the kitchen. Lizzie runs away from her family, 26 minutes. One of us had a breakdown in other lore 4 days ago with Ryland and Shane. Oh, it's all just like... Okay, I get it. There's a lot of Shane stuff in here. McDonald's mukbang. Oh, Morgan's on here. Okay, so it's just, let's just cross-pollinate our audiences and make a lot of money off Patreon. Okay, gotcha. Let's follow. Now, let's look at Shane's Patreon. Okay, it's $7.99 too because I went and looked at that. We're going to get to the comments in just a second if this video don't get too long. Okay, so his is $7.99. Now, I went over here and I expected to see all kinds of stuff about this new movie he's putting out. Oh, no. Hop to a O'Clock Office Party podcast 12 hours ago. They talked about that on The Sip. I'm filming the new podcast. New membership update. I added some things. Because we've been having so much fun, I decided to add some stuff to the membership offerings. 2 extra vlogs a month. Like what I posted today. What'd you post today? The worst day of our lives. 15 minutes. Oh my God. I feel like that's doable. And doable. You don't think 2 extra vlogs a month is doable? I fucking vlog every single day. More in the moment and in real time. It was so fun to film and post in the same moment. Let us know if you like the vibe. The worst day of our lives. Oop, we're crazy. He posted all these 2 and 3 days ago. June 7th. I never thought I would do this. What, start a Patreon? Does it say on here how many people they have? About? Does it say? No. 7 posts he's got on here. Can you see? Oh, you can gift a membership for somebody. The Christmas that keeps on giving. I mean, start a Patreon if you want to start a Patreon. But this is my thing. Why would you not offer something that you... I mean, isn't that what your other channels are? Don't you have Shane 2 and Shane 1 and Shane 5 and Rylan Vlogs? Didn't Rylan, in fact, get Vlogger of the Year for Rylan Vlogs? But now he's got a vlog channel putting up vlogs about him doing mukbangs? That's confusion to me. Anyway, let's read some of these comments, shall we? Because they're not good. I'm going to go straight from the top down. First of all, let me read you the comment that is pinned by the Sip with Rylan Adams. Okay, girls. We have been doing free content on this channel for nearly 5 years. Actually, no, you haven't, Rylan, okay? Because you have, underneath here, 5 people that have sponsored you, and across the board, HelloFresh, Audible. I mean, and you have free codes with those. So every time somebody hits that code, you're making money off of that affiliate link. And it's not disclosed on your video, okay? Number 1. Number 2, you also have a sponsorship in this video, okay? Number 3, you're also running ads on this video. You're making good money on this. Your video is an hour and like 19 minutes long, okay? Now, I counted at least 5 or 6 ads when I watched it. So 100,000 ads. Let's see if your watch time is 40 minutes on a podcast averaging, okay? That's probably 4 or 5 ads within 40 minutes at 100,000 people watching it. You're making pretty good money off this. Let's not act like you aren't, okay? So he says free content. It's not free content. It's free content for us. It's free content for us to watch it and absorb it. And because we watch it, because YouTube, because the audience, okay? If you didn't have an audience, you wouldn't be having any videos to upload because there'd be nobody to watch it, okay? So be a little bit more thankful for your audience. I'm entirely thankful for my audience for giving me the amazing life they give me, okay? This free content bullshit drives me crazy when people want to say, oh, we've been giving you free content. Everybody on YouTube's fucking free. That's what it is. Give me a break. Girls, we have been doing free content on this channel for nearly 5 years. Patreon will not be the only thing we talk about, but you talked about it the whole podcast. In fact, since we've launched the SIP, we've barely mentioned it. Well, I only found the Patreon going back like a month. Actually, let me go in here really quick and fact check that before I get into that, because he says they barely mentioned it since they started the SIP. Okay, let's go over here. Where is it at? Let's go over to the SIP's Patreon, and let's see how many do they have? Collections. How far does it go back? Oh, maybe they do. They have 43 on here. Let's go back and see the very first one. So the very first one they posted was April 10th. That was a live stream. April 9th. So no, you haven't had this on here as long as you started it. You've had it since April 9th. Okay. Anyway, in fact, since we've launched the SIPs, the SIPs Patreon, I get it. We barely mention it. We do nearly an hour and a half of free content every single week. Well, then I do about 3 hours of free content every day, okay? Because I'm now at 48 minutes of this video. I have probably a vlog for an hour and a half tonight. I got my 1,000 Pound Sisters video. That's all free content, okay? So apparently I'm offering, I don't know, like 30 times free content that the SIP is. So I guess I should start a Patreon. I guess I am entitled and deserving of the Patreon, aren't I? Okay. In fact, since we've launched the SIPs, we barely mention it. We do nearly an hour and a half of free content every single week. You choose to do that, okay? I mean, you could go down to the local grocery store and get you a job bagging groceries, okay? Or, I don't know, whatever job is in your educational field, because I don't know what education you have. I have no clue what your work history is. You used to work for BuzzFeed or something, right? So you could go get a job doing social media marketing. This is your choice to have this channel. Just like it's all of our choices to have a YouTube channel. Sometimes, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I don't know what to tell you, but this is our choice. There are people out there that hustle and post every single day, okay? Every single day. In fact, let me give a shout out really quick while I'm doing this. Okay, I'll get back into that in a second. To a friend that I absolutely adore that I found because she watched my vlog, and she has sent me so many nice things, and she is always supportive of me, and she direct messages me every single day, and her name is Nightmare Bliss, and I will link her channel at the top of it. She don't ask for nothing, okay? She just wants to reach 2,000 subscribers, and she is sitting at 1.75 right now. Let me just tell you the videos that she films on almost a daily basis, okay? It's happening, the end of the year long process to repair, 79 views, and she posts that. It's an hour and 4 minutes. She sometimes films 4 to 5 videos a day. 28 minutes, an hour and 26 minutes, an hour and 55 minutes, 20 minutes, 48 minutes, 14 minutes, 15 minutes, 55 minutes, 19 minutes, an hour and 36 minutes, okay? And she's getting 70, 59, 74, 49 views. And all she wants is 2,000 subscribers. She ain't trying to get rich off this. She does it because she loves it. She doesn't feel entitled about how much free content she's putting up there for the 79 people that are watching her channel. And I love her, and she is so sweet. And there's a lot of people like Mare out there that are doing the same thing, okay? They're not sitting there saying, we give you guys free content. The entitlement of that is beyond. And that entitlement is exactly why you got the reception on your video you did. So here's his comment again. Okay. In fact, since we launched the SIPs, we barely mention it. We do nearly an hour and a half of free content every single week. I hear you loud and clear, and we will chill on promotion, but this is something new and exciting for us. It's not exciting for us because it's the same things you're posting on all your other channels. So do something fucking exciting if you want us to get excited with you, okay? But it's not exciting because it's the exact same things you're doing in your other channels. We can basically find these exact same videos. That's why I won't start a Patreon right now. Until I have something new and exclusive to offer over there, like an uncensored elbow, which I just gave away for free over here. There's no reason for me to start a Patreon and offer something over there you can find on one of my other 7 channels. It makes no sense. If you don't want to watch this week, we will be back next week. That's so passive-aggressive. That is so If you don't want to watch this week, we'll be back next week. That's so passive-aggressive. I want to hear what people say. They're probably really sweet. We love you. I love you so much. You don't really have to explain yourself. Don't listen to these busters out here. Well said. Okay, so all these people underneath there siding with him. Did anybody say anything? Don't worry, Queen. Free content that you get paid for. Stop acting like you're doing the Lord's work. Goes on and on and on. Ooh, they are not so great at the bottom. Okay, let's go on to free comment. That comment cuts because you have sponsors and you all talk about how you loved YouTube for years. No, this ain't it. We get it's exciting for you, but it just sounds so tone deaf, especially with the whole save it for the Patreon. No one is hating on you. This is all off his comment. The people commenting are simply just fans who want to support your content or who have been supporting your content for years. They're just disappointed that after being your supporter for years, you just decide to throw them at the back of the paywall. If you want a Patreon, then at least stop putting the exciting content on there because your main audience is on YouTube. If any criticism thrown at you is considered hating, then you're really going to be hated. Somebody says, dude... Oh, the comments are not good. Have you read the messages about the food portion? It is... Okay, yeah. I mean, there's 98 comments off here. Calling it free content is wild considering you make thousands of dollars from ad revenue and sponsorships and all that free content. But no, you'd rather take money from your fans than big companies? Bro, you're deluded. This is all off his comment. I think a lot of the frustration is just timing. The SIP, Shane, and Morgan all started Patreons around the same time. Well, then maybe they should have thought about that because they're all putting their own... Morgan's on Shane's. Shane's on Ryland's. Ryland's on Morgan. So basically, just start one all together. I do understand what people are saying when they're saying, you want us to join all 3 of them? And you're all on each 3 of ours. So basically what you're doing is you're soaking your audience dry. And so we have to join each of yours if we want to see all of it. Okay. Somebody said, LOL, free content, like we should be lucky we haven't had to pay. What are you doing? It's free because you're not paying money out of your pocket to watch. Stop being so sensitive. Somebody said, okay. Now I'm going straight down underneath his comment. Somebody said, y'all, we can't even afford groceries right now, let alone Patreons. Somebody said, I don't think there's anything wrong with you guys having a Patreon, but when you go into your podcast and purposely say things like, oh, let's not say that and put it behind a paywall, it's shitty to the people that have been here for so long, and you have also made it clear to us that the podcast won't change, but they are changing because you are picking and choosing what you want to put behind the paywall. That's interesting. Patreon should be completely new content. Don't erase the quality of the SIP and exclude the little people. Listen, this is just my opinion, and this will probably not be seen by any of them. However, I feel I need to comment on it. As a fan since the beginning, who was able to see through all the hyped and sensationalized cancel era, and is someone who would always turn their notifications on in order to continue to support Shane, who, when I have had money in the past, bought the merch, bought the palette, has watched you all move up in the world from an apartment to a house, to a second house, watched you get married, have your children. I subscribe to all the spinoff channels, Shane's multiple channels, The Sip, Ryland's vlogs, Morgan's channel, her podcast, Sandy and Jared's channel, and watch them every week. To now feel not included for extra content behind a paywall just feels shitty. I live in Canada and the Patreon costs $14.50 a month, and I truly don't have that. Our rent is out of control, the tariffs are killing us, the carbon tax, etc. The channel was an escape for me. Now it feels like some kind of cool kid club I never got the invite for. Shitty. Hold on a second. And one last thing, to sign up for all of these Patreons is just not realistic. Morgan's, The Sip, the podcast, like, come on. I think this is interesting. I want to see, there's 17 replies to this. Somebody said, I think a lot of the people are in the same boat. They make so much money already. They're happy to support them with my views on YouTube, but to actually give them money every month is insane. Somebody said, I agree. I've been there for Shane since the beginning and have loved the podcast and the others since I found out about it, but this constant money grab. Wait, did you say money grab? I'm not allowed to say that. Did you, as a fan, say money grab? I am not allowed to say money grab, but a fan said it on here. Okay. Thank you. I feel validated. But this constant money grab, I'm over it. They are putting, somebody said they are putting a lot, they're coming to this person that said they're putting a lot of work behind their content. Baby, they put an eating and driving portion behind a paywall, and there was already the after sip, which provided, oh, they already have that? Extra content on that style. The same portion that they even got them most of the views. While owning 2 houses, trying to buy a $2 million new one for content, as seen on Morgan's channel, go ahead and defend them, but all of us are watching it crash and burn in lifetime on a specific channel. Somebody said, I've been watching Shane since the Kermit video, like 2010. I absolutely love him, the crew, all of them. I'm so happy and excited for them, but not going to lie, I feel the same way. I'm a mother of 3 and just can't do it. I'm happy they're doing something exciting for themselves and they can make money as parents, but as an OG, it does suck. Somebody said, long-term Shane Ryland Morgan supporter here. I feel you. I live in New Zealand, and if I want to subscribe to all these Patrons, I'd be spending more to watch their content than what I pay for my utilities and water and electricity each month. It's really sad, and I'm sad. Somebody said, I have to agree entirely. I wish I had millions, but as pleb during the recession, all we can do is try to keep our lives afloat. Somebody said, I'm in the exact same boat. I've been a fan and supporter since the beginning. Somebody said, I 100% agree. I can afford it, but I'm so annoyed I simply won't. I mean, it goes on and on and on. I mean, people are not happy about this. Save that for the Patreon. Somebody said, we're over it. Somebody said, I can afford the Patreon, but if you're going to keep a topic for Patreon, then don't mention it on a free video. It makes me feel shamed for not paying for something I've gotten for free for so long. No hate, just don't mention content you want paid on a free video. I'm not annoyed that they are doing a Patreon. I don't like they are developing their content for it in real time in the videos they're putting out. They start a story and then stop to say, save it for the Patreon. Also, they keep referring to content they filmed and laugh like it's an inside joke. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. It does very much feel like an inside joke. Oh, this was on our Patreon. They need to pull back once and settle things down. Nothing here will change. Just the food portion on the Patreon, which they've admitted is the only thing that gets them clicks on this channel. So the only thing that gets them clicks on the channel is the food portion, and they've now taken that over to Patreon, so people will have to go over to Patreon if they want to see it. You're going to start losing subscribers and views massively. Massively. I've said for a long time that the pendulum is going to switch back the other way. People like long-form content, not necessarily, I mean, people like short-form content, but it's going to go back to long-form content. I am somebody that loves long-form content, and you cannot saturate your audience when we are in an economy that does not afford that, okay? People cannot afford groceries, like somebody said, let alone to pay $20 for 3 people's Patrons, that they're not even really ever going to know much more in life, and that's supposed to bring enjoyment to them. It's sad. I don't know. It's sad. Who am I? You know, years ago I accused Shane Dawson of having a cash grab, and now people are saying in his comments, do you have $2 million homes? Morgan has this, have that. And it's like, their fans are upset about it, you know? Their fans are upset about it. So, I don't know. It's interesting to me. It does seem like a money grab to me. If they were putting absolutely new content over there, I wouldn't say that. But explain to me what is new over there. They're just taking things they were already doing that were getting them views on that channel and putting them behind a paywall so they can make more money off of what they're doing. So now their SIP has become an ad for their Patreon. Anyway, sad. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.